Pensioners were up in arms this week over NIB payouts. A record number of murders recorded over the weekend, and the official opposition challenged the boundary cuts. We've got those stories and others. I'm your host, Krishna Virgil, and this is the Tribune's Top 5. Pensioners were angered all across the country this week after visiting banks and being told that there was just no money available. Confusion led to anger for some National Insurance Board pensioners who went to banks across the country on Tuesday expecting their pension money, only to be told it was not available. There were reports of widespread frustration and hostile behavior directed towards bank tellers over the confusion, as many pensioners who were expecting their money are living hand to mouth and were counting on receiving their funds on Tuesday. When contacted, Minister of Labor and National Insurance Shane Gibson told the Tribune that NIB erred and sent out a wrong date in December and claimed that a correction was issued on January 3rd. He also said that pensioners who receive direct deposits from NIB get their payments on the third Tuesday of every month, and those who receive checks from NIB get their checks on the following Thursday. However, several pensioners who spoke to the Tribune say they did not hear of any correction to the earlier pension payout schedule issued by NIB. One pensioner who spoke to the Tribune on the condition of anonymity claimed he receives his pension on the 14th of every month, but this time nothing was there. I called NIB and they told me I have to wait for the 21st, with an attitude and no explanation, he added. I assume the government borrowed all the money from NIB and they broke, but that isn't my fault. I need my money. This is ridiculous. Another pensioner, a resident of Long Island, took to Facebook to complain about the situation. He said a pamphlet was disseminated by NIB officials that indicated that they were supposed to receive their pension payments on February 14th. Port Charlotte MP Dr. Andre Rollins said on Wednesday he is prepared to swim in his own vomit in order to get back with the Free National Movement to ensure that the Progressive Liberal Party does not win the upcoming general election. While making his contribution in the House of Assembly Wednesday night, Dr. Rollins said despite all that has happened, he is an FNM and his main objective is to make sure the party led by Dr. Hubert Minnis becomes the next government of the Bahamas. Dr. Rollins' statements contradict comments he made in December when he said Dr. Minnis would be an absolute failure as Prime Minister. The Port Charlotte MP was among 7 FNM members of Parliament who submitted a letter of no confidence in Dr. Minnis last year, forcing the Killarney MP to be removed as official opposition leader in the House of Assembly. The rebel MPs voted to have Long Island MP Loretta Butler-Turner replace Dr. Minnis. Since that move, Dr. Rollins has repeatedly criticized Dr. Minnis and his leadership abilities. He's also said he would not seek re-election under a Minnis-led FNM. However, while debating the draft order of the Constituencies Commission's Boundaries report in Parliament, Dr. Rollins said he is willing to do what it takes to return to the FNM. A disciplinary tribunal has been convened to look into the MP's actions, and Dr. Minnis asked the members to resign from the party after their coup. Since last Friday, police have recorded 8 homicides, pushing this year's homicide figures to outpace last year's figures. An 8 Mile Rock woman was fatally stabbed on Valentine's Day, police in Grand Bahama reported on Wednesday. According to police reports, the 49-year-old victim of Seagrape 8 Mile Rock was taken to the Rand Memorial Hospital shortly after 5 p.m. on Tuesday with stab wounds to the body and later died of her injuries. Police did not release the victim's name, but the Tribune understands that the deceased woman is believed to be Margaret Smith. The police investigation is continuing in this matter. It's the island's 3rd homicide for 2017, according to the Tribune's records. It is also the 28th in the country for 2017 and marked the 8th murder since last Friday. Prior to the fatal stabbing in Grand Bahama, a man was shot during an argument outside a West Bay Street nightclub just after 2 a.m. He was taken to the Princess Margaret Hospital and died at around 8 a.m., according to police reports. In response to the spate of murders, both Prime Minister Perry Christie and Commissioner of Police Ellison Greenslade each gave their take on the situation, but their opinions differed. Commissioner of Police Ellison Greenslade said the Bahamas is not in a state of crisis and the average Bahamian can continue to go about their day as normal without the fear of being attacked. At a press conference at the police headquarters on Monday after a weekend of carnage, Commissioner Greenslade said the only solution to the country's crime problem is to keep prolific offenders behind bars. He said the Royal Bahamas Police Force is not considering implementing a curfew or locking down certain neighborhoods. And the suggestion to do so is emotional and makes no sense. His comments came hours after the country recorded its 27th homicide for the year. On Monday afternoon, police also reported that a man was stabbed outside an establishment on Nassau Street, while 2 men were shot while in the area of Ross Corner. These victims were said to be in stable condition in hospital. Commissioner Greenslade said it is simply not enough for people to point the finger at the police in this time of crisis, yet refuse to manage their homes or assist the police in catching wanted persons. For his part, the Prime Minister likened the Bahamas' crime situation to the Wild Wild West. As he said, the recent wave of murders in the capital must elicit a major and continuous effort by his administration to flood the streets with officers in a bid to do all that is necessary to bring the madness to a halt. Mr. Christie, speaking with reporters on Monday, said the madness occurring is due to gang activity and retaliation. He said the past bloody weekend is a shocking development and will require the government to do much more to fully understand the senseless set of killings and have a law enforcement respond as quickly as possible and in a very meaningful way in their crime fight efforts. These efforts, Mr. Christie suggested, would likely include dedicating a substantial number of officers to patrol the streets of New Providence and simultaneously giving them the capacity to interdict the movements of people on the streets, incorporating more reserve police officers, and if necessary, incorporating Royal Bahamas Defense Force Marines in policing efforts. Official members of the opposition took legal action against the government over its recently tabled boundaries report. Official opposition members of Parliament took legal action against the government over the recently tabled draft boundaries report, filing an application in the Supreme Court that seeks leave to begin judicial review proceedings of the draft order. The plaintiffs, Montague MP Richard Lightbourne and Fort Charlotte MP Dr. Andre Rollins, are represented by attorney Michael Scott. They argue in documents filed on Wednesday that the draft order tabled in the House of Assembly by Prime Minister Craig Christie last week should be declared void and that the 2012 order on constituency boundaries should be made extant, meaning applicable to the 2017 general election. The men seek a favorable ruling based on three grounds: that the draft order has been tabled too late to be legal, that it represents egregious gerrymandering, and that it seeks to add an additional constituency despite a nationwide pace of voter registration that is well below that of 2012. This is the first time that the Supreme Court has been asked to consider the constitutionality of a draft order that is based upon a report from the Constituencies Commission. Mr. Lightbourne and Dr. Rollins hope their legal action will prompt House Speaker Dr. Kendall Major to postpone parliamentary debate on the boundaries report, which is scheduled for Wednesday, until the judicial review application can be considered. However, when the House met on Wednesday, the efforts were rejected by House Speaker Dr. Kendall Major of the House of Assembly. The House of Assembly still passed the order on Wednesday night, despite 6 members, Mr. Lightbourne, Dr. Rollins, Nico Grant, Theo Neely, Peter Turnquest, and Dr. Hubert Minnis opposing. In the Supreme Court on Thursday, a government lawyer argued that the court should reject the request from the members of the official opposition for leave to begin the judicial review proceedings of a parliamentary order on constituency boundaries, because the judicial review, he said, attempt is doomed to fail, even if leave is granted. Justice Ian Winder adjourned the hearing until Tuesday, February 21st, which is when he will deliver his ruling. Want to get in on the discussion? Well, here's how you can. Just log on to our website at www.tribune242.com, like us on Facebook, the Tribune News Network, send us a tweet at Tribune242, or subscribe to our YouTube page, Tribune242.